Hey, hello, Paige. Do you recognize where I am? I'm at Common Grounds. I got the drink, but they kind of forgot, and the other lady did it instead of the one that was going to make it the way I liked it last time, so it's not as good. But it's very rare. I don't think I've been to a coffee shop where if you like a drink, it's going to be consistently the same unless it's the same person making it, even though you kind of describe it the same way or order it without any specific offshoots. Let's say you kind of like it exactly the way they make it usually. It varies. Anyways, I don't know. I'm saying this because maybe you're connected to the people here, and often the errors. Let's say at Tim Horton for simple things, like extra toasted or things like that. I've noticed it's usually not something wrong with the toaster. It's usually a communication issue when there's a middleman. Like let's say somebody takes the order to cash, they say I'll make it, and then something changes, they don't make it. It's usually the communication between people that fails in quality here. So I think it'll keep recording while I open your email just to see what you said. So the discomfort isn't easy. If the discomfort isn't easily perceived, then how does one go about doing it? So, I want to be sure I understand your question. So, are you talking about perceiving the discomfort of experiencing cognitive dissonance, for example? If that's your question, then one way I can answer is, when the people primates, the common folks that suffer from HSD, and they are very much hanging out with like-minded people that are also reality compromised and also thinking compromised, then they will not eventually embark in conversations that lead to this discomfort. So there was a rally in town here a couple of days ago, and you can see it on my YouTube video that I interviewed somebody called David. And then there's people coming in trying to interfere, and it's not his spouse that is a Spanish speaking, but it is a couple that was checking to see what I was going to say, and as soon as they didn't know whether it's right or wrong. It's just different what I was saying. So they came and interfered, and my battery was going dead waiting to finish up with David. So I just had a conversation that never was recorded with them, and it would have been a great example if I did, because it would have showed them interacting with a critical thinker that would have pointed out, that some of the things they're arguing about, as the conversation progresses, would turn out to be, hey, that doesn't make sense with something else that you're very passionate in arguing about. And you might say you need to further educate me, but here's here's the facts that these things can't coexist together. So it would have had to be, in this example, a conversation that led to pointing that out. And many years ago, like 8 years ago, let's say, or maybe more, I was on Vancouver Island, and it was a popular time where people were getting others to sign a petition to legalize marijuana in Canada. And when I had conversations with them, asking them, why they take it, and often it was just leisure, it wasn't really for medicine, but they were kind of hoping that it would become part of the norm, right? So they were failing in the maturation process, or the becoming an adult, or a personal development process. And it's hard to do without a society that helps with that. And we're not structured this way anymore, and it's getting worse. But the people have had to often sit down. Like, they have to sit down. There might not even have been a table. If it was in a mall, I talked to somebody in a mall, they had a chair and table. But if it's just at the corner in front of the post office, they would just lean on some cement just from this conversation. So the discomfort was, they were tired, they were flustered. It's like a tilting pinball machine. I just pointed out inconsistencies in what they were very passionate about, and because they couldn't coexist these different things at the same time in reality, and they kind of intuitively knew about this, but without engaging in such conversations, and it never came up for them to discover it, because most people generally have discomfort of many things. Just the stress of a poorly managed life because of HSD, and also just generally unhealthy people eating unhealthy things and living unhealthy lifestyles, and just in in constant effort of pushing down denial of information, how things are getting worse, but wanting to kind of feel excited about raising kids at the same time. For example, this is, they're already in discomfort, and unless they're very skilled at observing and pinpointing things, like for me, if I feel a feeling and it's very light, oh, it's like, where's this coming from? And then I review the events of, let's say, the last 12 hours. It's this specific event that triggered that feeling that's very light. But I practice this. I practice the fine-tuning of the little kind of meshes and flavors of my experience through my body and my feelings and my thoughts. And most people don't do this kind of practicing. So they might have a discomfort when cognitive dissonance is starting, maybe by accident, but not because they're engaging in conversation that would really make the discomfort grow. But it's just a little bit there, and it could be there just with them, watching something they want to believe in the news, let's say Fox News, and then they kind of, okay, I don't see how that fits into what I believe so far. And then maybe they had have a thought, hey, if I talk about this, that friend's going to question me on something that I've been saying for a long time, which seems different than what I want to promote as also believing on Fox News. So they'll have their own discomfort without a conversation as well sometimes. And again, we have to talk about these phenomenons. We have to talk about an inability to suffer, to practice critical thinking. But my theory on HSD, because it's a grand unification theory, and it's at the root to explain most things, then, that's got to be addressed, because there's no grass is greener on the other side, because it comes with us, this dysfunction. I mean, we could go build a wonderful indoor city on Mars, but we'll still have this. So it'll still be that this is failing more and more. And if we don't prioritize this, then yes, it doesn't matter how much money or technology is invented or money invested in fixing what we think is outside of us, when the fixing needs to be inside of us. So this is a long video. I'm going to go see if it's still recording. And hopefully, whatever internet you have access to, looks like it's still recording, will be okay.